All right, and we are recording. How are you doing today, Juji?
I am good. I'm happy to be back here on your podcast.
I'm happy to have you back as my drop-in co-host.
Yeah, co-host in the hizzy.
How was the feedback from your episode?
It was really good. I found myself, I really liked sharing it, and I actually really liked the name of it. It was called
Badass or Baptist to Badass, right?
Exactly. Yep. And then so I thought that was a nice little attention grabber for a name, but it was cool because I had a couple people actually reach out who were in the Christian
realm.
Yes, realm, and just kind of relate and speak to how it resonated with them and like their growth journey. So I really enjoyed hearing that like genuine feedback from people.
Yeah, I was kind of preparing myself for some negative feedback because for one, the title,
Yep.
it's kind of, it's an attention grabber, like you said. And when you're dealing with that realm, they can oftentimes take offense to things.
Yeah.
And so I kind of assumed that people would be offended by that.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of positive feedback from it. And yeah.
It's my favorite kind of feedback.
Yeah. Wow. So what have you been up to since then?
I have been working, doing my internship with the brain spotting stuff I told you about. I actually got my first client and I'll be starting next week. I'm so excited.
Nice.
And then I changed my work schedule at Lansing Community College. So I work from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. so I can get, or 2:30, so I can get my 8 hours in and then do my internship in the evenings. And then I'm doing the radio station it's like a radio podcast, LCC Connect. LCCconnect.org. Anyone who wants to check that out?
Plug.
Yes. So I have a radio show on that. I'm finding myself really busy. I just played in a volleyball tournament yesterday. We lost, but it was really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. So been busy, but yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, you are one of the busiest people I know. For somebody who's not in a relationship, doesn't have kids, I'm like, she is always doing something.
I like it. I like to stay busy.
It's definitely good to stay busy. You stay out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find time to come on this podcast again.
Exactly.
So we are going to be talking to your friend, Sarah. How are you doing today, Sarah?
Doing really good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Bringing me on.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah.
Who are you? Where are you from? The Lansing area? How did you and Juji meet? You guys are friends?
Yeah. Yep. We've been friends now for counting on.
It popped up on Facebook the other day.
7-8 years now, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm originally from like Tawas, Oscoda, Hale area. So I've been born and raised in Michigan my whole life, but small towns can kind of stay small.
Yeah.
And my brother had moved to Lansing, and I just kind of was like, I'm going to jump ship and try something new. So I've lived here now for about nine years, I want to say. And I just kind of put my feet in and was like, I'm going to get a job. And I worked a couple. And then obviously I met Juji at one of them, which was Carrabba's first. Yep,
I was a host. She was a badass server. I was like, I want to be like Sarah.
We worked there. I was there for a while. And then we ended up going to Tequila Cowboy when that opened. Bartending and half serve
I forgot
there.
about Tequila Cowboy.
Yep.
It's easy to forget. A lot of people had good memories, but needless to say, it's easy to forget.
Yep.
It was a good spot, right?
Yeah.
There for a little bit.
Great dance spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
a lot
happened?
Of bars. Financial things kind of fell flat, I feel like, and then it just kind of bounced from owner to owner.
Okay.
And they just couldn't keep up with it. I mean, realistically, putting it in the Lansing Mall, it's kind of like a bust anyway.
Over on the west side.
The Lansing Mall is like, so many people want it to come back, but I don't see malls coming back, period. I mean,
Very good point.
You look at like the Meridian Mall and I'm like, this is a little sketch because, I mean, I think they're doing a good job with Meridian Mall because they have High Caliber and some of these other
the
like
axe throwing,
the-
go-karts.
yeah, it's
Those
like,
are fun.
It's fun. But when you like think about all the other space, what can they do with that space? And stores are going online or they're opening up these like sub stores like little strip malls.
Right.
Like, what are they going to do with these malls?
I keep saying that they should move Horrocks into the Lansing Mall.
Oh, that's a great
There's
idea.
tons of parking.
And it'd be indoors.
It'd be indoors. Like the space that they could utilize inside the Lansing Mall is just
for the
beyond me.
For the parking alone.
I know.
Saying.
And I mean, it's closer to my house at that location. So I'm
You're
good
like
with that.
3 minutes away.
Yeah. But I think that would be ideal for sure. But, you know.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. I always thought maybe like they should put like a resort type thing in there, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see, yeah,
yeah,
something.
I don't know.
You
You
don't
should
really
tag.
have anything in there right now.
Yeah, you should tag Horrocks in this conversation.
Right.
I'm going
Horrocks,
to.
listen to us.
Yeah. Give us some credit.
That is a really good idea.
It would save a lot of crowding, that's for sure.
It
Yeah.
would.
Because if you're like me and you go into like a big place, like that social, which everybody I feel like nowadays has that social anxiety.
Well, I avoid Horrocks just because of the parking.
Yeah.
Like it's so crazy to try to find a
Yep.
parking spot.
I'm the one that's like, I'm going to park way in the back and then hate myself for having to walk all the way up to the store and then have to carry all my stuff to my car. But at the same time, I'm like, I can get in and get out.
That's what
Great.
carts are for.
Yep.
I love Horrocks because it has like that like small town like market feel. But like you said, it's so crazy busy. Like you don't even want to mess with that. I'd rather go to like Meyer or something.
Like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
It gets.
But
it
when
gets
you do
touchy.
when it is like not so busy and you walk through, like you said, David, it's like that little country kind of feel. It smells good. Like I just walk in there and I have a good feeling.
Yeah.
But when there's so many people, like you said, Sarah, like that social anxiety, I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm trying not to run into people.
And I'm just like,
My
I don't want
cart's
to be here
going.
anymore. I'm like, okay, what did I come here for? Now I'm in agony of being here. Like, that's me anyway. And it does have that small town vibe because
Yeah.
coming from a small town, a lot of stores, like we didn't have Meijer up there. We had one store called not Kroger, it was Coker's.
It sounds like a knockoff of Kroger's.
Basically, it is. They had some kick-ass donuts, though. I remember that. And then there was like a little IGA meat store or whatever, and like one gas station in my town. So like coming from that to here, it's like, oh, I have Kroger, I have Meijer, I have Walmart, which I had a Walmart, but it was 30 minutes away.
Wow.
So it was that adjustment, which is nice. But having that Horrocks there, it's like kind of just brings a little bit of home back when I go in there, which is nice. Other than all the people.
That's crazy to think about too, because like living in a big city, you don't think about like having to travel to the store. I oftentimes do car side pickup, so like I'll just order my food and then go pick it up.
Yeah.
But like in a place like that, you actually have to go grocery shopping, and you have to like make like what if they don't have stuff?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. They run out. They do. There's been times where you go get gas and you're like, oh, all these pumps, there's one pump.
Oh.
Because they just fuel through one line because all the other ones are empty and they have to wait to fill up again. And it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to get gas today. It's just really, the small town stuff is no joke. That's
I
for
didn't
sure.
think of that with the gas.
I mean, especially the like number of people there. I mean, like I personally graduated with like 42 kids in my class.
Wow.
Yeah. So hearing like schools here, like my husband, he's like, I graduated with maybe like 500-600 kids. I'm like, how do you like I'd be in the hallway being like, hi, like trying to, make sure everybody knows me. And me, it's like my town. Oh, Sarah's not here today. We know that. It's like so small.
All 42 of your friends 41 of your friends message you like, hey, where you at?
Yep.
not here today.
Yep. They know.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
So let's get into your story a little bit. You're from Tawas.
Yep.
You decided to move to Lansing because you wanted something different.
Yep.
What has life looked like since you moved here?
Exciting.
And Juji, if you have any questions or anything you
Yeah.
want to pipe in at any point, just go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
Oh, I'm gonna steal your thunder. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been absolutely great. Not only just having like moving here and getting closer to be by my brother. And then a few years later, my mom and my stepdad moved to Lansing to be closer to us. So they live in Williamston, but hometown is 3.5 hours away. So having that distance, what we have now, doesn't seem like a distance, anymore. So it's nice. I've made tons of friends. I've worked many, many places, all different kinds of places, from retirement homes to restaurants to retail, like nannying, you name it.
What's
I've
your
did it.
favorite job?
Honestly, my current job right now.
Stay-at-home mom?
No, I was doing that. I was doing that for a while, but as much as I loved it, I'm such a social person. Like I have to I feed off of that.
Yeah.
So I had to like get out and do stuff. And I had told myself I'll just try and transition to being a stay-at-home mom. And do all this, because it's great, because I was able to do that because my husband had created that foundation for me to be able to do it. And also, the pandemic and everything, it just kind of was like something you couldn't not do. It was to be home,
Right.
So I ended up, I'm a paraprofessional. I work with students that, aren't so fortunate to had graduated from high school, and or they just, life situations happen, and it could be really good, it could be toxic, but the school wasn't there for them, so they can come to the center and work, or they can work from home. And I just basically, I'm their relationship manager, so I kind of coach them and guide them into kicking ass and getting their schoolwork done, but also building that platform for them to hopefully have expectations to do stuff after they graduate from success, is like go to LCC. Because we had Cassie come.
Yep.
Cassie came Thursday, and she got 2 students to sign up.
Good.
Good. But I had told her, I was like, it could be a hit or miss with the kids coming for student engagement
and
night.
Cassie is a student engagement coordinator at Lansing Community College. Cassie Little. Yeah. So Sarah reached out and was like, hey, we're having a event, and I really would love to have some LCC representation to help these kids kind of, see a transition from high school to college. And I was like, I got somebody. Let me get her to call you. Yeah. So she came out.
Great.
It was good.
She came out. It was good. The turnout was pathetic, because there was like 2 or 3 students in there, and we have at least 200 at our center that are either in the center or not in the center. But so I mean, it's just like we have high hopes for things, but
transportation, there's all those issues,
cold, COVID, you name it. Yeah, everyone's got something.
It's got to be a rewarding job, right? I mean, because you see these kids who come in who fuck their life up, and they want to better their life, but they might not know how.
Yep.
And it's your guys' job to set them on the right course and to make sure that they succeed. And when they do succeed, that's got to be rewarding, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love it. I have, I think, about 33 kids on my personal caseload that I work with. Wow. So just, I have one girl, which is funny. She's actually from my hometown. I grew up with her uncle, and it was just funny how I was like, I know that last name. I know that last name.
Small town.
Yeah. And she ended up like connecting with me, and she's like, oh my God, like I know you kind of, sort of, mutually. And I'm like, well, you're one of my students. And we started talking and conversation, and she's, rambled off a couple swear words. She's like, I shouldn't be swearing to my teacher. I'm like, here's the thing. I'm not your teacher. I'm not here to do your work, do any of that. I'm here to build a relationship with you. And if that's how you want to approach a conversation, by all means do it. I mean, I'm not going to curse at you because I need to keep it professional, but it was really cool. And I mean, like just having her be like, hey, reach out to me every day and push me on my goals and push me more. And I'm like, absolutely. So I mean, like on a Saturday, Sunday night, I'm texting her and I'm like, hey, let's get on and let's make that 7%. If not more, you can do more, girl. I believe in you.
That's
and
awesome.
It's great.
You're a coach.
Yeah, I'm coaching her.
You're a life coach.
Yeah, it's so a little cool. Essentially, yeah. But yeah, it's super rewarding. I love it.
That is cool. Wow. Yeah. Do you have anything to say?
No, I think it's such a really impactful position in people's lives, because I remember when I graduated from high school, I went to a super tiny high school, and then the transition of what to do next was so scary. And it's like, I don't know what to do, like what career field I want to go into. I don't know what my strengths are. I was struggling to recognize what my values are. It's hard when you're young. So I think just having the guidance of someone like you, for a student to have a Sarah, I think is just so, like, it's very impactful, and you're so loving and caring, and you really, it makes a huge difference. Like the little things are the big things.
They are for sure. And, it goes back to the students, like, don't know how to utilize resources.
Right.
And for me to be a resource to somebody, at least just helping them, like just let's go. Let's do it this way. Yeah. Let's try it and see how you feel.
Just that positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was in high school, I had a teacher that, like, he was a huge influence on me. But some of the other teachers I had were like just like uninspiring whatsoever. Like,
it's a good way to put it.
Like they did not help me at all. Like other than teach me what they were supposed to teach me, I wasn't inspired when I went to their classes.
Right.
But when I went to this one teacher's class, he inspired me to just be better. And to this day, it's had a positive impact on my life.
Yeah, and you remember it very vividly.
Yeah.
So it's like years from now, you're still going to be like, with your kids and stuff, you're going to be like, hey, I was told this and showed this by someone that was able to mentor me in a positive light.
Right.
And, and that reflects on them, and then they can kind of carry on with that through their life. So, I mean, for my kid, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more stern.
Your son? Yeah. Your son, yeah.
So we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
David, I do have a question, like kind of in this topic of conversation. You said the one teacher was really inspiring. Like what kind of set that apart? Was it like that he tried to make a personal connection with you and the other teachers didn't? Like I'm just curious around that.
That's a really good question. Well, during that time in my life, it was when I was going through a bunch of stuff at home. And so I didn't have anybody in my life really that was a huge influence on me. Like I wasn't getting any positive reinforcement from home or like the church that we were going to. Brad McClure, he was the only other person that was really like taking me under his wing at that point. But this teacher, I'd go to class and I don't know, he just like he would look at things from a different point of view, and I was like, I can him and I might not agree on something, but he's like challenging me, like as far as like thinking outside the box,
Different
not being so narrow-minded, looking at things from a different perspective, and I don't know, it inspired me to be better, and actually helped me to focus more on my school, because before that I wasn't doing so well in school. I was pretty much failing all my classes.
It's hard when you're struggling, and like that positive reinforcement, like you said, like somebody just having a different perspective and just kind of being there for you, like makes so much of a difference.
Especially when you're young and like you don't know what you want in life. You don't know like who you want to be or even who you are as a person.
You just don't know anything.
No, you really don't. You're an idiot.
Nobody really. I wish there was like some, I don't know if it's therapist role, parents roles, but for people who don't grow up with a good family structure, I feel like we just fucking miss it. I'm like, how am I supposed to do things? What's a healthy relationship?
Yeah.
How do I figure out my goals? So like, the fact that Sarah, you have that position, like David, you've experienced a person in that position, and I've had people in that position in my life too. It's like life changing. So it's so impactful what you're doing. Like, just to like bring that all back to scope. Like, wow,
I love it.
It's a good spot,
and it gives me high hopes to see like in the years from now, like I'll come across and see, oh my gosh. Look at that! That kid's a brain surgeon now. You know, I mean, it could be anything. You know, or maybe he is not. I've also had a student tell me. I asked him, "What are your goals after here? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you want to do as a career? Rap."
You know what?
I said, "Okay, that's great. Well, what kind of music?"
Oh,
well, that attitude's gonna change. So I mean, like, and now looking back on that, it's like being able to. That was our conversation 2 months ago. Today, it's. Full on conversations I have. So I mean, like that is enough for me right there to know that I'm going to get this kid to at least do not only his schoolwork, but something is going to be, there's a light at the end of his tunnel for sure.
I think that's a huge problem with schools is kids are uninspired. Like and teachers are uninspired, and the kids go to class and they just don't get anything out of it. They're bored as fuck.
Yep.
Like they don't want to be there because the teacher doesn't make it fun and interesting.
Yep.
And then so when you ask them like, what do you want to do with your future? What do you want to go to college for? What do you want to do for a job? And they're like, I don't know, I want to rap. That's fun. I like listening to music.
Yeah, right.
Whereas like a teacher won't necessarily incorporate that into their teaching.
Yeah. They're like, okay, this has nothing to do with this like subject. So
so you need to sit there, pay attention, put your phone away.
And he just needed that little encouragement that if that's what you want to do, I will probably put you on my Spotify one day. You never know, you know?
For real. And that little encouragement from you.
Yeah.
And David, you raise a really good point, and it makes me think about like how systemic those problems are, because teachers, I mean, I could go off about this, but like,
please do.
The teachers, that's I would argue is the most important job. They're raising our future nation, our future generations. Like that, the young people right now are future America.
Yeah.
So I just think that teachers' jobs should be so much higher paid. They should have so much support. I have a friend that's a teacher, and she has a class load. There's like 20 to 40 kids and like one teacher, and like there's a school counselor. There was one school counselor for the entire school. Wow. And then they moved it to 2. Like, but the support needs to be there for the teachers so that they can put that out, because I can't imagine trying to go to school or as a teacher teach and like have self-care and like output and connect with every kid when I'm not being supported. So I just I want a radical like revamp of our systems, like and I think that like change is coming. And I was talking to my teacher friend the other day at the volleyball tournament, And she talked about how COVID was actually, there was a little blessing in COVID because parents got to experience how hard it is to teach their kids at home.
It's not easy.
And so I just think it's kind of, there's so many factors in that. Yes, like teachers need to connect with their kids, but you know, they need to be supported by our government, by our resources. They need to have more invested in them. That's a fucking important job.
Yeah.
So spirited about it. But Sarah, also, like, when you work with kids, I think that you could create, I mean, you could help facilitate kids that have a higher vision and could be the change that we need.
Absolutely.
You know, so I'm like, yes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Get it, girl.
I'm here for it.
Okay, I'm off my high horse now.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's a huge problem. I just don't know how do you start? Like, how do you get out of the rut that we're in the educational system?
That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
But I think it's grassroots. I think it's community. I think it's like having conversations. I think it's learning first of all, not running away from the troubles and the challenges, but running straight towards the pain points. Like, what's the problem here? Let's run towards it, not away from it. Let's figure this out. And that's hard. And that takes a level of like authenticity and like communication skills and you know, negotiation, like just being able to have really good interpersonal skills, I think. So and it kind of makes me have another thought is like, it's learning to, so if I come to you guys with an idea and you're like, you have a first reaction to my idea and you're like, that fucking sucks, Juji. Like, that's a horrible idea. Get that out of here. Like, I think that it's having conversations in love. Even if you don't agree, it's staying curious, because the second you judge someone and their idea or opinion, it's disconnection. And that's like scientifically proven. But if you're curious,
I mean,
even
you
if you
can
don't
just
agree.
You just look at society today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many like do's and don'ts. Like, oh, you believe in that? I don't associate with you.
You're cut off. So it's like it's being able to like honor people and their opinions without understanding that you might not align with them and they might not be yours, but respecting them. You know, that's aside from harmful things, obviously, if someone's harming someone else and things like that. But I forgot where I was going with all this. But it's about how to make the change. So I think it's like conversations like this and just bringing awareness to what's really going on. Like, there's an elephant in the room. We have to look at the elephant. We can't pretend it's not here.
Acknowledge the elephant.
Hey, elephant.
Call that elephant
You're
out.
looking good today.
That's how I am. I'm like, I
You
want to
are
talk
like
to that elephant.
Sarah's a person who will talk to the elephant. She'll become friends with the elephant, and then the elephant will be on her team. Like, but you are very good at that. That's something I've admired about you. Like, I feel like I always say this to you, but like, you speak your truth and you're not scared. Like, maybe you are scared of it, but you do it boldly, and it makes a difference for people around you. I remember when we were bartending like together, I was scared to cut people off because it's just terrifying. Like, being a bartender and a drunk person, they're like, why aren't you giving me more? And you're like, I'm just going to go hide in the back. But Sarah will be the one who's like, no, you know what, you've had two. She would just be there in that moment and able to communicate in really hard situations because she, even if you were scared, didn't show. You were there and spoke to what was going on. Like, you spoke to the elephant in the room. Yeah. I hid from it.
something to that. I think a lot of people that have gone through like some of the things that like you've gone through and I've gone through, I don't know really what your past is like, but they struggle to, like, they want to be liked by everybody, right? Regardless of them being drunk or whatever, they want to be accepted. So it's difficult to like be like, no, you're not having any more.
Right.
Like, you want them to be happy.
Yeah, don't yell at me, please.
You want them to like you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely have no problem speaking up for especially people that I'm with, my loved ones, family.
Do.
I don't have a problem with that, speaking up for myself. Although I have a hard time asking for a side of ranch at a restaurant. Just as crazy as that sounds, it is the truth, because I don't want to be a burden. I mean, like, just working in that industry, I don't know. For some reason, I have a hard time being like,
just ranch or
anything, you know, mainly it's ranch.
But you're thinking so much like about them.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have so much empathy for them that you don't want to add to their load.
And I know, like, they're busy, and I'm like, the last thing I would want to do is have like, bitch, shut up. I know you want ranch, but I keep forgetting, you know, kind of thing. Like,
Here's your ranch.
So that's one thing that I would say is my downfall, and maybe it's something I'm trying to truly work on and be better about. Is being
ordering that ranch.
Yeah, like I can speak up no matter what else, but when it comes to that side of ranch.
But just acknowledging it, I just want to point out, is huge, because the fact that you're just aware of that, like, that's like 50 to 70% of being able to work on it now, because you can it happens, then you're like, oh, I did it again. Fuck.
Yep.
Yep. I wanted the ranch. No, I didn't get it.
Or I'm always with that one friend. I'm not going to say any names. And she's always like, ask for your ranch. Do I have to ask for your ranch? I'm like,
no one asked for the ranch.
I'm like, embarrassed. Check, please. I don't care about the ranch. I got ranch at home.
Oh, that is so funny.
Oh my God.
But there are people that go to restaurants and they expect the waiter or the server, the waitress, to bend to their will, like no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's super frustrating, right?
Oh, it is. It is.
I've never worked in that industry, and
Oh.
I hate it when I see people like that. Like I'll order ketchup or ranch, whatever it is. I guess I've never really thought about that.
Yeah.
But there are people who are like, no, I don't like that. Can you send that back and bring me something else?
I would be like, I'll just pick through it, maybe recook it at home, or I'll still ask for a box and it's god awful, and I'm gonna throw it away when I get home.
I'm always
and
scared
still
to
pay for it.
I'm always scared to like treat waitresses bad or to send my food back because I've seen waiting.
Oh yeah, I know where you were going with this.
I did too before you even said it.
Depending on where you're at, it's a legit thing.
I'm sure it is.
I am not calling out.
So tread
any place.
carefully.
Yeah. It is the truth. Don't fuck with people who fuck with your food, or don't make you mad. You know, I've never personally had someone like angry at me. I don't think. I mean, maybe once or twice. I would say bartending would have happened. I had someone throw a cup at me once, but luckily it was just a plastic cup, and I was like, "You're drunk. You're
done. You're cut off.
Here's your Uber. Goodbye.
And I just charged you for 3 more for throwing that cup at me.
Oh my gosh.
Can't please everybody.
No, you can't. And I think that's a big point you raised too, like in being so thoughtful of asking for the ranch. Like you can speak up for yourself, for friends, for others, but you are very mindful of, not wanting to burden other people or like add something that you're not sure if they can do. Like it just speaks to how conscientious you are. And I don't know, I think, you've gone through a lot in your life that has just raised you to be able to like have that awareness, and like it's just a gift, it's some parts of us are bigger than we want them to be. Like
I'm such a nurture
Right,
person, so
right,
it's
right.
like I care. I want everyone around me to be so happy and have such a good time, and I can be just there, and it doesn't matter how I feel. I just want everyone around me to do the same. Or like like right now, I'm like maybe I should go pick up a shift because I could still work at a restaurant that I work at, and I'm like maybe I should go pick up a shift. And my husband's like, why would you do that? You work all week and then you have your kid. Like, why do you want to go help please them? I'm like, I don't know.
I feel like I should.
Someone called in and I feel like I should go help.
Oh, you're
like,
so sweet.
It's just one of those things.
Self-care.
So you said you've gone through all these different phases in your life within the last few years.
Yeah.
What kind of led you to where you are now? Like, where were you?
Yeah.
Who were you?
Who was Sarah?
I'll dig up a little bit, but I'm not going to dig too deep.
Just whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously in your adolescent ages, you'll have those experiences that you have to experience to help kind of guide that path of maybe where you're going, what you want to do.
Gotta figure it out.
Yeah, not necessarily am I one to, have, I'm not super easy to persuade, although my husband would probably say otherwise.
It's limited to just him.
I love to have a good time. I'm such a happy person. But I loved to have a good time. So before I had met my husband, I was kind of just like, wilding out. Working at the bar, your mind is open to that night owl phase. Yeah. So you're like, I get out at 2. Like, this is my getting out at 9, 10 o'clock at night kind of vibe.
Right.
So, like, I want to go hard all night. So I have parties at the house. You do the math.
It's a different lifestyle. The bar,
yeah.
So, and I noticed that when I worked there too.
It's very corrupting.
Yeah, and you begin to think it's normal because that's what you're around.
Yep.
And just to speak to that, like you're like, oh, this is normal. Like other people get out at 5 p.m. I get out at 2 p.m.
Yep.
My day starts at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. I mean, but it's like,
but your day might start at 2 p.m. the next day,
you go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get stuck in that cycle. But I've seen you move through that cycle.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You've, go on.
I've definitely have I don't have an addictive personality to things. So it's not even just like hanging out with that crowd I'm not addicted to. It's, trying this thing and I'm not addicted to it or, anything in that nature. I just kind of was getting bored of it, but also like I love change. I thrive on change. So I was just like, I got to take a step back. Like, okay, I'm bored. I want to move forward. I want to try something different. And if I don't like it, then I don't like it, and I've always had a problem too, being like, I'm going to try this like new job and I'm going to feel super guilty when I freaking hate this place and I have to quit because I care so much, so deeply that I'm just like, I'm going to cry myself to sleep because I know that I want to quit this job. And, I'd get over it. Juji's been there with me when I'm miserable at our last job.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we've worked 4 places together now that I think about it.
We've worked a lot.
Because we worked at Gillespie for a while.
Carrabba's, TC,
Odie's.
Oh my God.
Gillespie.
4 places, Gillespie Group, yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
We just had a reminiscence.
Yeah, we had a moment. But yeah, you really cared about where you were, but you felt, in working with you, you were, expecting your baby, so you're pregnant.
I was passionate about my job.
Yeah, go on.
And I just didn't want, I don't know. And because I like change, I wasn't seeing a lot of change that would progress for the better within the place. And
you didn't have like a upward, you didn't have what is it? You couldn't climb the ladder.
Yeah,
really.
it was
like
very
you were
flat.
Tapped out.
Yeah, it was very flat.
And so you're like, I want more.
Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta go.
But you also cared a lot about the because it was an apartment building.
Yeah.
What were we?
We were at Marketplace.
Yeah, but what was our title? I can't remember.
Leasing agents.
Yes, exactly that. So I saw you care about people. You were like, if anybody had an issue, you were gonna fix it.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to get in Sarah's way when there's a problem and she's fixing it. or
what kind of problem?
No, I'm just kidding.
What kind of problem?
I mean,
like people who just
like renters.
Renters. No, you firsthand witnessed it, so I want to know too.
Like Sarah, it was a lot of times when people had problems in their apartments. I remember there was a person who needed accommodations. They were differently abled than other people. They were in a wheelchair, and they needed like handrails installed, and the insurance company was taking a long time to talk to our company and all this in between. Sarah was like the magic glue that held it all together. She was like, these people need to talk to this people. This needs to happen over here. Snap, snap, snap. Like, and they needed to move in soon, and she saw the need and she responded and had all the resources and made it happen like in the timeline. And you're very good and also very organized. Very effective, very organized. So
that's OCD. ADHD.
But I'm over here with like all my papers everywhere, and Sarah's like, here's my clipboard. Juji, what are you doing over there?
This episode is brought to you by Red Bike Delivery. This delivery service operates only using battery-powered, eco-friendly transportation. Red Bike Delivery is there for all your delivery needs, whether it's dinner for the family, flowers for your partner, or new houseplants for your new collection. Red Bike Delivery will gladly deliver those and everything in between. So what are you waiting for? Check out Red Bike Delivery on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Red Bike Delivery, because there's only one Earth.
Everyone's their own person, okay?
Papers everywhere.
I knew, it got done, but yeah. Sarah, I really I learned from you with that, honestly. Aww. And you had a lot of you do have passion, so I can see why it would be a hard decision when you want to move forward to something else, but you care so much. Is it that you cared about the people so much, or the job, or what was that? What's around that?
I think it's just like a mixture of it. Mm-hmm. I just want, like I said, I love seeing everybody happy and pleased around me. Mm-hmm. So if they're not, I almost am like tearing down something that I'm doing wrong. Almost it's affecting something that I'm doing, when necessarily that's not the case. Almost 98% of the time that's not the case. It's just how my brain works, that I don't want to be doubted, and I don't want to let someone down. And that's something I've been working on my entire, I can't say my entire life, because it's been something I've just kind of picked trying to realize it in the recent past years, is that I set these pedestals, these bars for almost everybody around me that I've met in my life, that I lived with.
How does your husband feel about that?
He should be sitting right here. I don't know how he's still with me. God, I love you. He's amazing.
I remember when you met him.
Yeah, that's a good topic too.
That is a good topic. We can go that route. Yeah.
No, I've learned that these little expectations that I've been setting for everybody is not working out. It's just everybody has their own expectation for everything. They don't see my expectations.
So do you find that your expectations of others is higher than what they have for themselves?
Good question.
Depending on the person. I would say, unfortunately, yeah. I would be setting that expectation is you're not meeting my expectation. What can I do to get you to that expectation? How do I make you recognize that you're not at that expectation?
How do you manage those kind of relationships with like friends who aren't meeting your expectation, like as a friend or like, or as like maybe like significant others?
Yeah.
Because at some point, like that's kind of a you problem, right?
Right,
Like,
absolutely.
like you have to like you said, lower your expectations so that they don't fail.
Yep.
Because you're kind of setting them up to fail for you.
Yep.
Interesting.
It is. No, that is
good point.
That is accurate
Wow.
as accurate could be, because and that's what had been realizing the last few years is that it is me. And, you know, like you can admit that you're a problem to a situation and it's okay.
That's how you grow.
Yeah. And now that I know that, you know, I have the solid friendships that I have because they not only understand me and where I'm at with that type of, I guess, dynamic in myself, but they also, you know, I've came to realize that like me not setting expectations for people also in a sense helps weed out some of the people in my life that don't necessarily need to be there, because without sounding selfish, I don't want people that can't run the same street with me.
Yeah.
You know what I
That
mean?
ain't selfish. That's self-care.
Yeah, like it's like I don't want them to, and I mean, God, I love everybody, you know, in my past, friends, whatever, most of them I can say, but I mean, it's like you're not a fit, you're not a good fit,
Which is powerful and courageous to recognize, because that's scary. But in that moment, you're doing what you need to do, which is put you first. Because who's living your life? You are. Nobody else can live it for you. So you have to make those tough calls and be like, I love you, but we're not a good fit.
Right.
Like,
I also think it's important too, like as a friend who's like sees somebody killing it, like who has high goals for themselves, they have high goals for their other friends. Like I think it's important to know that people have expectations of you, because then it helps you be better as a person.
Yep.
You know, like for me, if I've had a couple friends on here like big into like working out. If I'm not working out and I've been lazy as fuck, like I feel guilty being around those people because I know that they've been killing it and I haven't been. So it keeps me accountable for who I am as a person and
point.
my goals, and
it's like the iron sharpens iron kind of
yeah,
thing.
absolutely.
The good fit, like not the good fits, but people who have high expectations for themselves. You want to be better because you see them, and maybe it's not necessarily them saying, David, you should work out, you need to be better. You just see them and you're like, oh, I'm inspired.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe it's like that dynamic.
That's what I put a post up the other day with an episode I released, and I'm like, I always feel like I'm never doing enough. Like when I was talking to my buddy Cipriano, he's training for a marathon right now. And I'm like, whenever I see him, I feel like I am never doing enough. Like he inspires me to always do more, and I feel like I'm never doing enough.
Yeah. I feel like that's normal for sure. Because, you know, as being parents and stuff like this, you still don't feel like you're ever doing enough. And like now for me, working full time again after having that crazy fun experience life, which I would never take any of that back because I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't. But I also am like more grounded and came to terms with realizing like, this is my life. Like I am married now. I have a home, you know, a very warm comfort home. I obviously would like to pick up my home and maybe just like move to Florida.
I completely agree.
No more snow. But go on.
And you know, like it's not totally about like making me better, like 24/7. It's me making myself better, but also making things better for my son. So I'm, you know, it's not even just like, well, at the end of the day, if I didn't, like, I already knew you can't please everybody. At the end of the day, I didn't please you. Guess what? I'm not going to lose anything from it because I'm still going to please myself with what I'm capable of doing at the end of the day, which is delivering that motherly love and comfort to my child. Or maybe coming home and I can't even say recently, my husband's been working from home because he started a new job. So I come home now and all the dishes are done. Dinner's being cooked. Dan's on them in. Laundry's caught up. It's very weird for me. Because,
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it's nice to be able to have that to come home to, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I just, you know, got to keep striving.
Do your best. And it sounds like you're doing your best, and your best is all you can do. And it sounds like your best is pretty damn good.
It's getting there, yeah. Yeah, it's getting there. I'm trying. It's been a long time coming and a long way. And obviously there's always more room for growth every single day. So,
but you've kind of set the foundation, because obviously like you have expectations for yourself, and like, you know, keeping the house clean or doing dishes, like all these things that your husband is now doing. And so you've kind of set the standard for him to know, like, okay, I should have all this done before she gets home.
Or I know how she
went
likes
to work
it.
all day. Yeah.
Like
exactly.
I know how she likes it because it's been a redundant thing that she has been doing. Not that he never didn't like help, but it was like, it was more him working and coming home and being able to unwind and do his thing. And me, I was home all the time. So it was like, oh, I'll just keep cleaning.
Yeah.
Keep Swiffering. I'll just keep scrubbing the toilet, you know?
That paints such a picture. Like, I can see that. It's like the roles have shifted.
Yeah, they have. They really, really have. And I'm forever grateful because it's giving me an understanding of where he was, because I leave for work now and come home, and he was doing that. And now he's home all the time, which he's still working, obviously, but he can, you know, take a break and he'll work out, because we just got those, the Oculus like VR set.
Oh, cool.
So we
got boxing?
Yep, we did the boxing.
cool.
Yep, we got the
How is
workout.
it? I've seen you and your brother Jason going on those things.
So me and my brother went to the club the other night.
your caption made me laugh out loud, like snorting. Because what did you say? You said, "This is the most fun I've had on a Friday night." Like,
This
in
is
a
the
year.
hypest Friday I've had in a year.
And it's like a picture of a screenshot of her and her brother in the little, is it the metaverse or
Yep,
whatever?
metaverse, the
like
club.
their little is it emoji?
Yeah, it's like an emoji.
Yeah.
Like a characterized.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
It is like out of this world, mind blowing.
gotta
You know,
try it.
and like that's what I was gonna say earlier when you were saying, you know, how like malls aren't gonna be a thing like soon. Like my husband was telling me, like, this is like, you're gonna be able to wear that, walk into a store and be like, oh, I want that Louis bag. Let me try it on and see how it is, and then you can be like, put it in my cart, and then boom, and then it's shipped to your house. Like,
Oh my God.
this all virtual world is like,
It's real.
it's really crazy.
That's scary to think about. I don't know if I'm prepared for that.
Like we all think like, oh, shopping online and Amazon is super convenient. Like, how could you like soon furniture? You could be sitting on your couch and look and be like, oh, I love this furniture. Oh, but I hate the color. Let me change it. And then you could be like, I love this. It's a great fit. Boom, sold. Buy it.
Oh my God.
A couple weeks later, it's at your house, and you have that couch that you virtually saw in your living room. And now it's there. Like and my husband's like creating this, my own like metaverse, I guess. I have like an infinity pool that he's building, and like a mansion house with like, and it's cool because my brother can join in and be in his living room, which is downtown. I'm in my living room, and we're there together. Like,
what is the point of that?
The future is here. Just saying. Okay.
I mean, like that's where I'm going. Yeah. I don't really know, to be honest, because I'm still like trying to wrap my brain around this crap. Like I'm just like, my husband's like, do this, look at this, and I'm like, I don't know.
Processing.
I worked out the other day and I was in Iceland, and it legit like looked like I was
like
in
the grass
Iceland.
is like real grass.
Yeah, and there was like
buildings
little
are real.
Really? There's butterflies flying by, and like stuff's flying at you, and you have these beams, and you like have to like use your arms, and it's like
rope slams.
Yeah, I went
Rope slamming
upstairs and I
beam.
was drenched in sweat.
Wow.
So I was drenched in sweat. So I'm like, I'm very happy that I canceled my Planet Fitness membership. I could literally just.
I'm
work
happy
out.
that you canceled Planet Fitness too.
Where do you go to the gym?
I have a gym here. You walked right by it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
We were so excited for the podcast. We were tunnel vision.
I actually saw the Legos first.
Oh, yeah. We have those big blocks.
Yeah.
Now my kids love those.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, with the virtual world though, it's always been a little like scary to me because I think of like, oh my God, the Matrix, oh my God,
Yeah.
like, you know, all those big concepts. And part of me is just trying to like learn to be okay with it because the future's coming, whether I'm like okay with it or not. It's
Yeah.
gonna be here and I'll have to adapt. And like I can only imagine what my kids, if I have kids, like what they'll grow up with, like, whoa.
I know.
And like we grew up without like when I was, you know, young, I didn't have a cell phone. And then I remember getting a cell phone when I was like 16. And now like every kid has a cell phone. So that's like normal now. And then the internet, like people didn't believe in the power of the internet, but the people who capitalized on it early,
like now.
like look at Amazon, look at Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, so part of me is like, oh God, I gotta like embrace it. I gotta learn it because you asked like, what was the purpose of like, you know, her and her like mansion house and her brother like joining, but even with COVID and across the world, like part of me is like, oh, but it's not real. It's not tangible. It's not like physical.
Yeah.
But there's huge perks because I love FaceTiming with people. Like, you know, my family far away, it makes me feel close to them. But this is just like a huge upward level of it, and it is scary. And
That's
I think
a really good point. You
like-
could be in the same. We could be doing this podcast in our living rooms, but
Right.
feel like we're in a studio together.
exactly.
You
In
could
the
set up a
metaverse.
studio
and you could
and just be sitting there, but we're not here. Like, I'm telling you,
That is
it's crazy.
so wild.
what
it is
blew my
crazy.
mind was your brother Jason on Facebook or something.
Shout out to Jason.
Shout out to Jason.
Yeah.
I don't know who
You're
Jason
next.
is.
Oh, he's amazing. He would love to do this.
He
so.
has the Artisan Salon.
Yep,
in
he
Rio
owns the
Town.
Artisan, and then his partner
Hook him
owns. He's co-owner of Envy downtown. I don't know if you've ever
Delicious
been there for dinner
restaurant.
off Washington.
I've never been there.
But all that to say, he had like met somebody. There was something going on in the comments. Like there was somebody who worked. Is it the metaverse? Is that what it's called? Who worked in this virtual world and got paid to like answer questions. So it's like it's already happening.
It is, yeah.
So I'm like, man, I need to like get a little like VR set, virtual reality, and like get acquainted with this because it's coming. It's already here. Like I'm behind the trend already.
Yeah,
I feel
me too.
So I'm like,
It's worth the money, that's for
exactly.
sure. And I mean, it's good for kids too because there's a lot of educational things that you could buy.
Ooh,
There's
yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of apps on there, so you can
Yeah.
utilize so many different types of things. As far as like I said, working out, cooking.
Yeah.
It's seriously like I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it.
Isn't it kind of funny to like look back and like because I remember my parents would be like, get off the internet, like you're just frying your brain, or like stop watching TV. You're just
Little did they know.
you're taking in like no information. Like
Yep.
it's like it was pointless to do those things. But now it's like so many kids learn. Like my kids watch YouTube and they know so much stuff. I'm like, how did you know that? They're like YouTube.
Yeah.
Like that is crazy that
Crazy
they
and
are
scary.
6 and 4 and they know more than I did at that age.
Yeah.
And kind of to that point, like, so I do the therapy and I do somatic therapy and specifically brain spotting, which is like, it uses the science of eye movement to help remove trauma or stored trapped energy from your nervous system using the science of eye movement. So all that to say, I did the training entirely online, like, and it worked. And I've received therapy, brain spotting therapy entirely online. So like all that to say, it's like, there's so like part of me is very scared about like everything's gonna be virtual reality, but part of me is like needs to be open to it. Like it can do so much for us. So
You should
I'm
just
like,
try my thing, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
I'll put you on the plank.
the plank.
Yeah, you walk out on a plank, and it's like all skyscrapers,
God.
and you literally.
I'm scared already.
Well, Dan like pushed me, and then caught me, and I literally all my arms and my legs like I was falling.
Did you feel it like in your stomach, like when you're falling?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It was like, I'm telling you, like it is so fun, but it is the most wildest thing that I
Is
ever
it addicting
experienced.
like TikTok?
It's addicting.
Oh God, I'm
Like
in trouble.
when me and my brother went to the club, I was sad when he was like, my headset's dying, I have to go plug it in. I'm like, that means our night is ending, but I was already in my PJs and it's only 10
That's
o'clock.
closing time.
Yeah, like I didn't even have to go anywhere.
That's last call.
Yeah, and I made friends from all over. There was
Really?
people in
Like
that
real
club.
people.
Like
Oh yeah,
international?
with their headsets, and they were like, "Come on, I'll show you how to get over here." We were like jumping in the pool. There's like hookah. You could pick up a hookah and like blow bubbles of smoke. People were doing it. Was crazy. Passing
I'm
around
just
bottles.
shocked. This is so cool.
Yeah, like I picked up a big beach ball and like threw it, and I was like,
I hope it hit Dan.
it hit a couple people, but that doesn't, like it's not like, but you only see like half of their body. You don't really see like the rest of them. And it's crazy because you can create this person to look just like you. Obviously,
Yours
my
look just
brother's,
like yours.
my brother, I was like, Jason, we all know you don't have your nose pierced.
Do you think that by having something like that and like like young kids having it and kind of like the way social media has gone and taken its course with like young people, do you think it's going to have a negative effect on like people and what they like think life actually is?
Really,
Like a false reality type thing?
Most definitely probably could. I think, and too, like in time when, if kids do utilize this or have access to it, I think there should be a very strict cutoff rule, like time for them at home. I don't think, because it's very mind warping to be in your living room and sit there and be like when I took it off, I had to literally like sit down and collect myself again, because I was like, I'm at my house, like, and I physically almost felt like I was not at home. I was at the club. Like it felt so real, other than like me walking around and I'm like, oh, that's the TV. That's not the person. You know what I mean? And I think it really could.
I would think that it could cause a like severe depression, because
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people go on social media, a lot of kids go on social media, like looking at other people, and they get like dopamine whenever
Big
somebody likes their
time.
picture, like
Happens to me.
me too.
Oh, it's such a thing. But yeah, for kids.
But yeah, and I think it's real bad for kids because they start comparing themselves to other people. They want to live the lives of other kids. And I would think that if they had this false reality that they could go to, and then the minute they get out of that false reality, that they would kind of be back into a state of depression.
Yeah, like they'd shrink back into who they actually are, because in the metaverse, you can be anybody who you want.
Right.
You can look however you want. You
kind of like social media.
Yep. You can literally create that image for yourself and live that life. But then, yeah, as soon as you take that headset off, you're going to be right the person who you are. And, it is going to be a process for somebody that unfortunately is at that mental health state or a young age where they can't process it. So I do think it is kind of a concern. But I mean, for me personally, it's fun for the time being.
I have like almost not controversial thoughts, but I think you guys are making me think, just saying. But it's all about like balance, right?
Yeah.
Like, because we're saying false reality and virtual reality, but look at how the internet was, it's frying your brain. But look at how now it is. We wouldn't be doing this podcast and releasing it online. People wouldn't be listening to us without the internet. So I'd argue it's like, it's part of our reality now. So just in that way, the virtual reality will be reality in a way. So I think it's like learning, like to your point, Sarah, like when you take off the headset, you're back in your house. Like it's teaching our kids to equip them with the skills to be able to be present, to be able to manage that, because it's going to create some big time, like it's definitely going to create problems and create good things. It's going to be both ends of the spectrum. Depression. Yeah. If I'm in like Hawaii and then I put, take them off and I'm like, it's winter in Michigan, I'm going to have some problems.
It is.
But it's all about like learning how to cope with that, I think, and emotional regulation skills and then teaching our kids, which kind of goes back to like the teachers and the schools and all that.
But I think if you look at society now, let's just forget about the VR thing, and you look at the way kids are with social media, they don't really know how to manage it. I mean, I think I'm kind of seeing it more like it's become socially acceptable to talk about it now. Like people are now like coming up with solutions and stuff of things that you can do to get off social media and help kids. But it's very addictive.
Yeah.
And why would I want to be in this realm when I can be in a realm that makes me feel good?
Yeah, and part of me is so scared we're just gonna be hooked up to them.
Especially especially as a kid.
Yeah.
Like if it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
Just go in this false realm and I don't have to worry about life.
Yeah.
Struggles
And then
of
they're
it.
sitting there for hours and hours and hours, and then they start to think that, I mean, the sad thing too is they can create this life there and then maybe take the headset off and try to create that in reality, and it's not the life that they maybe should be creating for themselves. You know what I mean? Because in that virtual reality, they're also being exposed to all kinds of things that they might not be exposed to in reality.
Right.
So it's like they're maybe like, oh, well, I saw this happen there. Like I'm going to go out and kind of expose myself here. When I see that, I see the good. Yeah, like safety reasons. I see the good and the fun and the joke of it, but I also see
both.
I think there's a lot of good to it. I'm not saying that there's not good to it. Like if we could do like a virtual podcast, like we're in the same studio together, but it's like in the metaverse or whatever it is, that would be so cool. Or if you could like see a family member who lives in Colorado and you're taking a hike together, but you're not,
Yeah.
like that would be cool.
Yeah.
But if you're like going to the club and you're 14 years old.
There was a 14-year-old in there.
What?
There was, and we but you can like kick them
Hopefully
out.
they're not doing drugs in the bathroom.
No. You can like kick them out, so everyone can like vote to like remove that person. Because it almost kind of like notifies you. It's weird. And I'm like, why is there a remove button? And then this girl comes up, him, he's got to go. And I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, okay, remove, and then he's gone.
So you guys, like, you're making me think too. Like you have I agree. Like there's the good and the bad. And then there's got to be ethics around this. Like, like who's in control of like building the ethics around this? Just like with social media, we had to go through like,
should anybody be in control?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, oh God, here we go. But like, as far as when people are getting harmed, like kids.
Yeah. What if I wanted to kill you?
My meta person.
Could you kill somebody in the metaverse?
I haven't came across that yet. I
So,
mean, I don't
so
want
many
to.
questions.
I'm picturing like Sims, but like on my head.
Yeah, it is kind of like Sims.
Sims or like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. I'm sure there are worlds that you can go into of that nature. I personally won't be doing that, but
interesting.
I'm pretty sure there probably is. I mean,
not that I'm gonna go there. I'm just like thinking of all the ramifications like we're talking about. It's just very interesting.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool.
It is,
and a
like
little
I said,
scary to see how it plays out.
Well, I have faith for and hope that our young people, like, I mean, they make technology way better.
Yeah,
they do.
You know, everything, like, I'm surprised that technology has gone the way it has. I remember, like, thinking back when I was a kid, like, oh, we're gonna have flying cars. Like, you have this idea of what the future is going to be like, and it's never like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, with the young people coming up, they'll probably make a pretty cool metaverse.
Yeah,
I would be totally fine if one thing that, you know, does happen in the future, if we were able to actually like teleport. I know that sounds crazy, but I think it would be a thing. I would love to just be like,
that'd
okay,
be cool.
Let's go to Florida.
No more planes.
I've actually thought about that too, because like when you really, this is not scientific. This is just my own speculations and my own weird thoughts. But like everything's energy. And like when you think about it, like, so people are watching us on a video right now, a screen. It's literally just vibrations and frequencies, like even recording our voice. Like you can't see our voice. It's just going into the computer. It's going into the like wires, and it's like popping up on another side. Like a picture is being like, you know, compressed down to a wire and then shot somewhere else. Or even just like in the air, like frequency. So it blows my fucking mind.
It is
and then
mind-blowing.
I'm like, well, I know obviously humans, like it's way different, but like I don't think that's not. I
Like
think
a
that could be a thing,
thing?
like in the future. I don't know.
Like-
My mind's very open.
Probably when we're dead,
Yeah,
that might be a
knows,
thing.
Though? We might have some smart future Elon Musk people. You know, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
It's fun to speculate, but back to reality. No.
Another thing too, if like in the metaverse, that might be a good way to fix the educational system.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could have
Goddamn.
right, kids could stay home and
It'd be fun learning.
Right, it'd be fun learning. You'd be in this classroom. They
Your
could make.
teacher would be there.
You could even like program like a computer teacher to make things interesting for each kid.
Yep.
Hire teacher aides, like other metaverse people.
Or like I mean, because you can probably create like fake people, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So
yeah.
like, what if a kid went into the metaverse and they select things that they're interested in? Like I want to be a musician. I want to be a rapper. I like country music. I like all these things.
Right.
And then they can customize a teacher in a program based on a kid's likes and desires and preferences.
Oh my God, David.
Okay, so that's gold. I can't even get a word out.
Wow.
But that's gold. I
Yeah.
think that is something maybe whoever created this, hopefully comes across you just saying that, because
should.
I don't know the degree and the capability of, because my husband, like I said, is the one that's been messing with it all, and I just kind of know bits and bits of it. Of the degree and the capability of being able to do something in that nature. I think that would be outstanding, and that would be just another reason why this whole thing is mind-blowing.
Wow. David, love your idea.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
What would
that.
it be called? Like a little
Why would
virtual
it-
classroom or
Why
like
am I responsible?
VR class.
VR class.
One-on-one.
VR class.
We'll do some PR work around the name.
I think that would be sweet. That
And
would
then
be
you
cool.
could-
It's
even, like-
not out of the realm of impossibility. Like, I mean,
know.
it's completely possible
Yeah.
to make. I mean, because like you make a video when you play a video game, you create your own character. You tell like you can create like what they like to do, what they don't like to do, outfits, and all kinds of stuff. Why can't you do that for education?
Yep.
And I like the first thing, like my mind thinks very connectedly. Like, so as soon as you say that, my mind jumps to that would create a lot more jobs too, because people would have to input those skills, would have to
Yeah.
input those things. They'd have to like record the voices. They would have to like, you know, the tech behind it. Like I was on a tour at Lansing Community College West recently, and they have a huge robotics lab. Like they build like machining and things like that. So they were talking about, we had an international group of people, they're called the Humphrey Fellows, that are at MSU, and they come in and like we do an event at LCC so they can learn about it. All that to say, they're like visiting professionals from other countries. Like it was really, really cool. We had somebody from Fiji. Her name was Latte. It was spelled like Lite, light, but it was Latte. Anyway, very cool detail. Just painting the whole picture.
I love it.
So this is a classic ADHD story. But what happened was somebody asked the question, what about everything moving to, you know, not people doing the job, like a robot doing the job or like technology taking jobs? And they made the point that for every job technology takes, there's 2 more jobs for actual people, like to program, to build things, to like build the systems that it takes. So like my mind just goes to, wow, that could be a really great opportunity for people for the future.
Yeah. That's one thing working at GM and being on the line. A lot of people talk about technology coming in and taking over jobs, and it's a huge concern.
Yeah.
But like you said, like, wouldn't it create other jobs? I mean, yeah, it might eliminate some jobs. You might,
like the tedious ones that are hard on your body, maybe.
Yeah. And I've witnessed it happening since I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, like they've had robots come in and do certain things that people used to do, and it's I think I mean, obviously it's a bad thing for people who are just a line worker, have no skills or whatever, and that's their job. But for somebody who's skilled, it creates a job for another skilled person.
But then like places, institutions like mine, Lansing Community College, like not to plug, but I'm totally plugging. Like they do the thing where they have entry, exit. So you come in, you learn your trade, your skill, you get your degree, you exit, you go to your job. And then when things like this happen, they have what's called re-entry, and they have training programs. They build training programs based on trends and like, learning how to program these robots. Like, and then you re-enter, learn the skill, and then re-exit again. So it's like for the people who don't have those skills, like there's opportunity. So I could see that really building. Yeah. And then like Sarah, you could connect, your kids at where you work to be like, hey, go learn these skills.
Oh, heck yeah. Be like, here you go.
Just you want to design a virtual reality? Here you go.
Yeah. I think there's just so much to it that is unknown, but also like not technically or maybe fully unknown. I think it's just needing to peel back and unfold those layers. And then
I think a lot of people are scared of the unknown. Like they're scared of change. I'm scared of it sometimes.
I'm raising my hand.
I love change.
Sometimes.
I do too. But like there is that little bit of like when you go to an event and your first thought is like, who's going to be there? Or what am I going to wear? Like, well, for me, that's me personally. But
just anxiety.
But then you love the event. So go on, Dave. I totally cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. I don't remember what I was gonna say now. Change. Change is good, and I think a lot of people is scared of it because I mean, I don't know. I mean, change is always good because it's progress, right? I mean, everything always has to continue moving forward, and if it doesn't, then you're just kind of stagnant, and then innovation stops.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Yeah. I was just listening to a Tony Robbins talk today because I love him. And he was talking about how problems are good and changes. Like, if you don't have any problems or any changes, that probably means you're very stagnant or like dead because problems are good. It's just how you handle them. And we kind of think problems and change are bad. But it's all about just adjusting.
Yeah.
And having the skills and the resources and support. Because change is fucking hard sometimes. Like, there's the good and bad, but, like, man, that adjustment period sometimes. Whew, dear Lord.
It is a thing
So, being somebody who likes change, when did you decide that you wanted to make your life better? I mean, obviously, you got married.
Yeah.
You have a kid. How old is your kid?
He's a little over 2.
He'll
be 3 in October.
Ah.
So however many months that is.
Let me count on my fingers here.
I always told myself I'm going to do the months. I'm going to count by months. And now when that he's 2, I'm like 24, 26 months, 27 months. I don't know.
Where's my calculator?
Don't be that person.
Yeah, see, exactly. That's why I'm
actually,
like, he's 2.5. He's almost 2.5.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
18 months. No, please.
That hurts my head.
I never really realized it.
That?
I never realized it until I was a mom. I was like, God, another girl saying it like that. And then now that I tried, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. But then I fall flat. I'm like, he's almost 2.5. He'll be 3 in October. So.
I understand that perfectly.
Yeah. But no, he really had me change, obviously. But I can give a lot of kudos to my husband, though. He's very, he's a homebody. He's very introvert. I'm such an extrovert. I'm not a homebody. I am very much so now, like that. So, having that type of change in my life was a lot, going from woo, go, whether it's work, gym, play, all of it. It was go. There was no stop for me. Yeah. And then I met him and it was like, not a stop. You can keep going, but I think we just need to like slowly keep going. So I slowed down a lot. And, as far as like loving the change, it was just like, for me moving, I think it started when I moved here, was knowing that moving to a different city. I have no idea who I'm going to meet. Like I'm leaving almost everything behind. Yeah. And I had a boyfriend when I first moved here when I moved here, And I told myself, I was like, I'm not going to date anybody. I ended up meeting him at the gay bar, which was weird. I don't know why I still remember that. But I met him, and then we were together for like 3.5 years. And then I'm like, this is something I didn't want to do. Like, I need change. So things kind of happened, separated, whatever. And then like I just lived. And I was like, this is what I came here to do, was to make new friends, wild out when I want to. I don't have someone there to have to answer to right now. I just want to figure myself out.
Yeah.
And I did. And then, I met my husband, which I saw him at the gym. And he was weird and creepy.
And very buff.
Very buff. He looked like Jim Carrey, and I called him Jim Carrey. I'd be like, there goes Jim Carrey walking by. Because I would be with my ex at the gym and my brother, so it was weird. We'd always notice all these guys, like, wondering if, like, this girl is with this guy or if my gay brother is with this guy. Like, people were always like, you have that thought in your head. That's what you get for judging a book by its cover, really.
Exactly.
Is your gay brother a stud?
I mean, he's...
You said it like he's always with somebody new.
Oh, no. He has been with his partner now for 11, 12 years.
Oh, okay.
So they've been together for a while, but he is a very, very beautiful... He would tell you he's prettier than me. Which he is.
I remember seeing your brother, and I was like, Sarah, your brother. And you're like, no, he doesn't... Not that way, Jude.
Yeah. Oh, no. All my girlfriends are like, hook me up with your brother. I'm like, good luck. Let's try. Please, let me know. Let me know how that goes.
But you were at the gym.
Yeah. But so, we were at the gym, and I saw him, and I was like, man, I bet you that, that guy's just weird. He's always like there. He's wearing a wife beater, and like, I just, those expectations. Like, I would never date a guy that was like wearing a wife beater. He had a comb over, like Superman. He looked like a little Jim Carrey Superman. I thought he maybe smelled like a glue stick. It's just like these weird things that come to you.
How did you get close enough to smell him?
Well, I didn't, but like
she has her ways.
I had finally met the girl I work with is the only person that I've ever came to terms with knowing that has ever said something in that nature that, I think that person smells like pickles. And I was like, oh my God, I love you. I love you. Like you get me. Okay.
Does that happen a lot? Like you smell people? Like,
no, it's not like I smell you. It's just like, for some reason I was just like, man, he must, like, if he had to smell like something, it would be glue.
Oh,
like, that's
like
what
an
it means.
association.
Yeah. It's weird. And it doesn't happen with everybody.
I think he was like sniffing glue. Is that what he looked like?
It was like a glue stick.
Like Elmer's, like the kids' construction
with the purple glue stick. Like that's what he. That's
like you can create a beautiful craft with him. Huh.
And like
I'm such a corny person.
I had dated a few people like on dates in the mix of meeting Dan, and I had tried to hook him up with like 2 of my friends, and he was like, "Oh, the only reason I'm going to hook up with them or hang out with them is to get close to you."
Oh,
and I'm like, "You're a creep, okay?
You're a creep."
Like, and he would stand behind in conversations, and like the guy I was with one time, he'd be like, "Do you know this guy? Because he's like in our conversation," and I would be like, "Oh, that's just Dan. He's always there.
That's my glue stick."
Yeah, and then he is my glue stick.
He is.
But I
hopefully you've told him this before, and he's not going to hear it for the first time on here.
He won't be surprised. I was like, screw it, let's go out. So we went to Spare Time, and I'm like, I don't really want to be here. I'm gonna get hammered. So I drank a lot of Blue Moon, and the night was fun. It was really fun.
Was it like you expected?
No, it was complete opposite, like for the better. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, you're actually pretty cool. Like you're fun. You're not weird. And then, a few
what's SpongeBob where it's like a few minutes later.
Then that. And I was like, well, you're really cool. So then we just ended up hanging out and and whatever, and then
never stopped.
It never stopped. And then he proposed to me, and yeah.
How long have you guys been married?
It's been, I think we just met our 3rd year. October was our 3rd year. So we've been together for about 6 years now.
Wow.
Longest relationship I've ever had.
6 years.
I know. It's crazy. Because you remember when
having a moment.
Yeah. And
I remember when you guys were starting to date.
Yeah. It's crazy.
He would always be in that black shirt with big muscles, and you're like, this is Dan. He's got big muscles.
He got rid of the tank top.
He got rid of the oh yeah, those are long gone.
Did you pick it out for him? Here, wear this.
But he can't shake that black V-neck. He still has it.
It's a great look for him.
I mean, he tried to wear it the other night, and I was like, babe. I was like, you're going out with Jake. He's gonna know. That's gonna be the first conversation piece right there.
Don't they usually match too?
Yes.
Jake and it's a friend, Jake.
Yeah. But my husband's very he's very casual. He doesn't really like to get jeans, t-shirt, some shoes. Oh, okay, that's fine with me. He doesn't care what brand it is. He's comfortable.
I like that.
Yeah, he's very basic.
Yeah. Yeah, I can trust somebody who's basic.
Yeah. He's a very, very sweet, intelligent guy, and he's very, very, very fucking smart. Mm-hmm. Like the knowledge that man holds in his brain sometimes to be like, did you know that in Fiji that they do this and they have this there? And I'm like, where the fuck did you read that? I don't care. I'm like, I love you, but like, and then I catch myself sometimes being like, do you want to know something to someone else? And I'm like, oh my God.
That's I love when people do that.
Like, it's so weird, but I'm like, why do I have this information? Like, I'm just like, why do you have that? But he's just so smart. Like, he tried to like go on to Jeopardy once. Like, that's how smart he is. Awesome. He just knows everything. And I'm like, I love that about you, because how I always say it to him is you are very, very book smart, which is great for me because I'm great for you because I'm very street smart. So like, we are very compatible when it comes to that, because he is not in that nature. It's there, but it's not
this
there.
Is funny because you would say all this in front of him.
Oh,
I've
absolutely.
seen you say this in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, well, honey gets what honey wants.
Yeah. See, you know. God, I love you, Daniel.
It was cool to watch that, like, as a friend, to see, like, because we all grow and evolve, and I had my own journey. I mean, each of us have had our own journey, but it was cool to see you, like, come into yours and find the balance of who you wanted to be, and, like, it's just cool to see your evolution as a person.
Yeah, he definitely.
That's awesome. I obviously don't know you other than today. Like, I've never met you before, but I think it's really cool to hear how, like, you were this one person, you had all these expectations of people, and then as time went on, you realized that, like, I need to change. I need to, if in order to better my life and the expectations I have for others, I need to kind of take a step back.
Yep.
And by coming into this relationship and having a kid, it's obviously helped form who you are as a person, and it's had probably a positive impact on your life, right?
Oh, that is an understatement for sure.
Do you feel less stressed out?
different stress?
I feel like that's what it is. I feel like it's a whole different type of stress.
Yeah.
And I mean, I am like the person, like, I stress out about little things, like how stress out when we were at the grocery store. Like, we were at Meijer yesterday. I was like, I hate Meijer. I hate Meijer. There's nothing here. There's way too many people.
Should have went to Horrocks.
I was like, Horrocks or Kroger. Like, that's where I go. You know, I was like, next time we're just going to Aldi. I don't even care.
I love Aldi.
I do too. But like, my husband's like, it's fine. Like, we're here. Like, he's so chill, and I'm like, it's awful. He's like, why are you getting so upset? And then I'm like, well, why aren't you asking me this? He's like, now you're upset because I'm not asking. I'm like, yes. And he's like, now you're getting more upset. I'm like, oh my God, just stop. And I'm like, and then I have to look, and I'm like, why am I getting upset? Like, okay, I don't want to sit here and be like out loud, you're right, I am getting upset because cha-ching, in his book, he's like, hey, I already knew that. I love hearing I'm right, kind of thing, which people do. Dan's a very smart guy. He likes to hear that he's right. Nothing wrong with that.
I think it's really cool because you're young. I mean, I don't know how old you are.
I'll be 30 in November.
30, so you're close to my age. And a lot of young people don't get married anymore, it seems like. At least not.
Or divorced. Woo. Yeah. But go on.
One of us has been married and divorced.
Who could that be?
Live and you learn.
But I think it's inspiring to hear that your life, like I said, your life was one way, and then you got married, and you've made these positive changes to be a better person. And I think, because what it sounds like that you've described to me is that you have a really strong personality, right?
I do.
Okay, so people who have really strong personalities, it's hard for them to change, right? Because they have this idea of who they are as a person, and you better bend to who I am and my will. But I think it's really, really cool that you have recognized that and you've changed that.
Oh yeah, and I'm not gonna stop changing things. I mean, like I said, there's always room for growth, and I will continue to work on myself and just be the best I can for my son and also for Dan. And I definitely have come a long way, because I was very level-headed and strong-willed. And before, I would be like, what are you fucking looking at? Like, don't look at me. And now I'm like, hi, how are you today? Good. Or passing people, I'd be like, if someone wanted to walk in front of me at the stop sign, I'm like, screw off, I'm going first. Now I'm like, oh, please go. I'll wait. Like, you know, like that. That's the change that I kind of like. I'm recognizing that I'm seeing that's great for me, because before I was never like that. Now I'm great, and you know, because my husband's that way too. He's just like, oh, that's fine. I'll get there when I get there.
Isn't it cool how like being in a relationship can change who you are, like the way you are with certain situations?
Yep.
It's teaching.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine my life without him. I don't even know.
It's kind of like that positive reinforcement thing.
Yeah.
Back to the beginning.
Yeah.
It is for sure. It is for sure. And I'm very grateful for all of it. So it's just.
And in hearing you talk and like in hearing you recap, David, a lot of it is you have the growth mindset. A lot of people, David and I talked about this when we did our episode. A lot of people have a fixed mindset where they don't like change. They don't want to learn more. Like you, and maybe that, you know, they're blocked by certain things, but you have a growth mindset. You want change. You're a lifelong learner. You know, like these are such good traits to have. And it's very inspiring when you meet people like yourself, because it makes kind of like when you met Dan and like, you're like, you know what? I kind of like these things about him. I'm learning. Like people with growth mindset, I feel like when other people meet them, you learn from them. You're like inspired. You're like, oh, wow. You know what, maybe there is a different way to live. Like it's inspiring to people who don't know how to live that way. Back to positive reinforcement.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get comfortable in who you are as a person, especially as time goes on, you get older, like you get kind of set in your ways a little bit. It's so easy to just be like, oh, they don't like that about me? Fuck them.
Yeah.
Get used to it because that's who I am.
Yeah.
It's so easy. And, you know, you see it in like so many different generations, and it hinders so many like generations to come when people are like that.
Yeah.
It is for sure.
Yeah.
Stops innovation
It does.
because it's not open-minded.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're like, this is the way it is, and it's got to be this way, and Grandpa did it, and I did it, and
Yeah.
you're going to do it. And you're like,
Yeah,
no, Grandpa.
That's why, like,
Far from that. I'm the complete opposite.
it's like, I don't want to talk about politics, but when somebody's like, are you Republican or Democrat? I'm like, I'm neither.
I'm a centralist.
I'm not even like centralist. There's certain things I agree with, like certain like ideologies and whatnot. And, but like, I just believe in being a good person all around.
If I
don't
ever
really
mask
care.
that, I'm always like, I'm just me.
Yeah. You know what's funny? It even speaks to like, this is a small thing I noticed, but like when I said, oh, I'm a centralist, like my definition of a centralist is what you just said. So it's like, even sometimes we have the wrong terms.
Right,
Like, we might mean the same thing, but like we have a different term. So like being open-minded to be like, instead of being like, no, fuck you, you're like, hey, what actually do you mean? Like,
Right.
And it's so much more room for learning.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Kind of full circle.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about real quick?
How cool we are, you know, like, can we dance in the club later on your VR? I'm down for that. I need some exercise.
I'm definitely going to have to check that out. That's wild.
Yeah, for sure.
wild.
I mean, maybe, you know, next time if I come in and have a chat, I'll maybe be like a semi-okay player learning. I finally know how to turn the thing on, so that's all I'm happy about, because I didn't know what I was doing at all.
Yeah.
My brother's like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm trying to find the fucking volume button. I can't hear you. I have him on my phone. I got this thing on my head. I'm like...
Figured it out.
I did. I figured it out all in an hour and a half, but I figured it out.
That is so crazy. It's just to think about like where technology is going to take us.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. We're going to have like celebrities on there.
Oh,
I know.
We're gonna,
Concerts. You'll be able to watch concerts from your VR. Like,
I'd be sneaking backstage.
you're in front row. You'll be in front row. Right
No, I want to
to
like sneak back there and meet the people.
Oh, yeah,
because
I
that's
mean-
what I do at real concerts. So. That's a whole nother story. Never mind.
I want to hear.
It inspires me because I'm like that person that's like, I'm fine where I'm at. I look like a little thing up there, but I'm fine.
Oh my god. Well, mine were like smaller concerts, like the Arkells. They're a Canadian band. I love them. But I went to a concert in Detroit with my friend, and I drank pretty heavily at the time because I had a lot of social anxiety. And it's so fun to drink, and I was a bartender. It was
Especially
normal.
at a concert.
Oh my god.
It's kind of an inevitable thing.
Yeah.
But I learned these tricks where if you kind of fake it till you make it, like people don't question you. So I would just like confidently, like I would do this thing where I'd like stand up straight and I'd just like look at like I knew where I was going. And I would just walk through the gate that says like do not enter. And the guard would be there and he'd just kind of look at me and I'd just keep going. Like, and he would just like let me pass. And I just like, I didn't know where I was going, but I faked like I knew. And then I walked into this big tent and I met like the singers' girlfriends and stuff, and they're like, what are you doing back here? I'm like, I don't know, I just walked back here. And they're like, here, have a drink. And I was like, hoo-hoo. And then like I met the lead singer of the Arkells because I was like walking backstage to the big concert like stage thing, and I was like, hey, I really liked your show. And he's like, oh, thanks. And I was just like, ah. And I was like, I totally, like, I'm so funny. Like, I don't lie very well. And I was like, I totally snuck back here.
Yeah,
like,
that would be me.
And he just, like, started laughing. But, like, yeah, all that to say, I would probably be sneaking backstage on the VR.
I'll know where you'll be when you get yours from your house. I'll be like, she came with me, but she's probably back there.
Somebody's gonna write a code just for yours.
Oh,
where
man.
your avatar can't go backstage.
It's like The Sims when you're trying to go somewhere and they can't move.
You're like running into place.
That's what it'll be. Your boundary that you'll set
Just running in place.
won't go in that perimeter. It'll be like, this
No
is
juju
not
zone.
for you.
Very interesting.
Oh, it'll be a good experience for you then. And for everybody's going to experience it at some point, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
I hope it goes good. And I hope it's whoever does experience it just needs to like be aware of your surroundings, because I'm seeing a lot of people harming themselves.
Oh, like falling
Breaking
off of things?
TVs. Like they're like
seen-
jumping into televisions because they think they're.
Yeah, I've seen TikToks
Oh.
of
Yeah.
people falling into TVs or falling directly on their face.
My aunt, they pushed her off the plank, and she has a stool in front of one of her chairs, and she was like, bam, like right into it. She's like, my fucking face, and my fucking back.
Your aunt's really funny too. We need like a padded room then.
Oh,
my-
yeah.
Oh, that sounds scary.
Yeah, no, it
Padded
is.
cells.
It is. And
They have warehouses that you can go to and like have a what are they called? Like an Oculus.
yeah.
You wear like an Oculus and you can play like games and stuff.
Oh, shoot.
Wow.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Lansing Mall. Let's
That's
do
a
it.
good idea.
My thing is, I just would hate to like, see someone like
You don't wanna go
going
out of
down
your
the
house.
road with one on their head and being like, you know what I mean? Like they're like, I'm gonna go, and maybe you never know. Like, what if that opens up a thing where like they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna drive, and then they actually drive,
But
it's
because
scary.
it's the road. Oh.
Yeah.
What if you could wear it like glasses
Yeah.
and you could see everything, but it like cartoon like makes
Like
everything
Tom-
like
Like that
cartoon.
movie Tom Cruise. What is it? Minority Report, where he has like little glasses. That
Yeah,
maybe I'm mixing movies, but yes, all that to say that could be a thing.
like it changes your.
Wow.
Whoa, that's another path to go
You better
down.
get a notepad and start
I
writing
need
your
to.
things down.
What if
It's
you?
all recorded.
What if you could wear them and like you said, like you're driving with them and it changes your reality?
Yeah. Like you're like, oh, I'm just gonna drive in the mountains right
Yeah.
now, or something crazy.
Oh.
Like you're wearing glasses, like you're seeing normal
So
reality.
you'll
like
see if somebody walks across the street or
yeah,
a
but
car.
it could change like who they are,
Yeah.
like
Wow.
or maybe like they're walking, but you can see their avatar like on them.
Interesting. I'm just like starstruck over here. I'm like, whoa. My
gonna
mind's
be-
going really
This
fast.
is so
I'm
crazy.
gonna be afraid to put that thing back on.
It's gonna like latch onto your
Change
head.
is good, Sarah.
It's like the mask. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh no, my brother, he's like a whiz with it already. He's like, okay, we got to go here. And I'd be like, where'd you go? And he's like, hi, over here. He's like, let's go throw paper airplanes and boomerangs. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Or like,
Sounds like he could be a teacher of it.
he very well could. But he's also like with the hair and stuff, it's like people can come in and they could like be there with their avatar or whatever that's very lifelike to who they look like, and then they'll be like, oh, let's put this, boom, go blonde, like let's see what you look like, boom, let's go this, let's short hair, like kind of thing, with him having like the salon part to it. So I mean, there's
That's cool.
So much room for opportunity.
I
Yeah.
know. We're all just gonna be freaking hermits at home with these goggles on our head.
We're all gonna be fat.
My mind goes to like all those
That's another
movies
thing.
where it's like just big people who aren't in shape, like hooked up to their little virtual. That part scares me.
It does, but it doesn't, because we
But-
can't have the excuse that those things do not withhold exercise
Right.
resources.
You said you were sweating when you were at the dance club.
I loved it. I did the freaking beam thing, and then the boxing, and yeah, it was great. I mean, my husband works out with that, like every day.
I hate working out, so maybe that would be fun. Like
And
I don't
it's not
hate
just
it.
working out.
Yeah.
They played like music in the
gotta be
background,
fun,
and
yeah.
you like hit these little things in the air, and you do like cool things. And
I
but,
gotta
like,
we need to play together.
Yeah.
It'd be so fun.
I know.
It's funny hearing this and then thinking about like how the Wii can't like had the Wii Fit.
Yep.
Like that sucked. So
It's like that, but like
it just was so shitty.
yeah, it's like that, but like 150,000 times like more, just more. I don't even know. It's
Like
crazy.
the Xbox Connect dance game. I fucking loved that.
Oh, I remember that. Wow.
It's kind of like Dance Revolution, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
move and it like your player does what
Your
you're doing on the
silhouette?
screen.
Is it like your little- yeah, I remember.
So like if you do the dance move right, you like get points, but if you do it wrong, you don't get the points.
Yep.
Yeah. So like Dance Revolution.
Yeah,
but
and I
your
mean,
whole
like
body.
this thing can count, like track like things for your health too. So you can like connect it to your phone, or also like the things that you wear on your wrist. Like it was like, oh, do you want to connect like your blood pressure and your heart, like from your heartbeat and stuff, so you can track
It could be
that.
so helpful.
Yeah, and it does. especially for people that have, health conditions and stuff that do that. But I did do one where I was like flying through skyscrapers and like through these rings, and I was slightly hungover, so I think this is why. But I had to like rip those off, and I was like, I've never felt motion sickness before in my life before doing that. And I was like, the whole way home from Midland, I'm like, oh, this car ride is miserable.
So you could do it while you're in a car.
Yeah.
Like your kids in the back seat.
Yeah.
There you go.
You could, yeah. You should buy one.
I should.
I'm going to buy one after this.
They're like $300.
Oh, fuck.
But I mean, but then, they're there, but then like the apps, like, I mean, like we could send you like a referral link or whatever, and you could get some like $30 free credit or something. Honestly, yeah. And then the apps that you buy, some come free, but then some are like 30, 40, 50 bucks for the app.
But hey, this is the future. I got to get on board.
It is the future. It is the future.
The future is here.
The future is here.
It has arrived.
Do you have any words of inspiration you want to add to the podcast before we wrap this bad boy up?
Oh, I mean, just hopefully everyone knows to just live their life, be true, be you, and just be solid with who you are. That's my little advice, and just keep growing. And don't be afraid of change.
Yeah.
I love it.
Don't be afraid of the change.
I like it, Sarah.
Run with a capital C with that change. Like, I'm like all for it. Like, here we go.
I think that run with the capital C.
What about you, Gigi?
I think kind of bouncing off what Sarah said is like the self-acceptance. And I think that's like a theme for me right now in my life is like accepting myself and like who I am. And like you just said, like, be you, be solid in who you are. It's really like, get to know who you are. Get to know what you like, what you don't like, because a lot of people don't truly know themselves. I didn't truly know myself. I didn't know why I was doing things. And so once I just started to notice like my behaviors, I am hugest advocate for therapy because that's, I had a chance to sit down and like hear what I actually thought. So all that to say, like, actually maybe that's my word of wisdom to help yourself get self-acceptance and know who you are. Go to therapy, especially somatic therapy, because it's different than psychotherapy that's just talk therapy, and somatic therapy like really goes from a bottom up and helps remove those trapped emotions that make you do the things you do in your nervous system that you're not aware of. So my word of wisdom is go to therapy.
Awesome.
Seek help.
I love
Everyone.
it.
What about you, David? What's yours?
I would kind of go off the same lines as Sarah. I would say don't be afraid of change. I think oftentimes a lot of people are scared to change, whether it's quitting that job or going to school or just whatever it is. I mean, because especially if you have a family, like you have like a house and you have responsibilities, it's very difficult to kind of like sacrifice what things you have. And, I think it's important to kind of push yourself because that's how you get better. You put yourself into a situation where you can struggle and then you overcome it.
Yep. Like your 100-mile or 50-mile race shirt you've got right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I must say I didn't finish the 50 miles.
Oh, you don't.
But I did do the, what's the other one?
You've got
10K,
25K,
25K, 50K.
So I got an award for the 25K.
Dang, but that's way more than I would ever do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did 38 miles.
Oh, ouch. That hurts.
I'd sprain an ankle.
I see you live that, what you just said. I see you living that, like pushing the envelope. It's really inspiring.
I think it's important too. And that's how I find freedom in life, like is through struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to struggle every day in order to like a lot of like I listen to Rogan a lot, Joe Rogan, and he talks about paying rent every day. Like every day rent's due. And I think that's important. I think it's important to put yourself in a position where you struggle because then all the other things in life is just bullshit. Like it doesn't matter. Like the change really doesn't matter. Like sure, we'll just like your husband, like he just goes along with everything. Yeah. But
it's kind of like out of your comfort zone as opposed to like struggle would be out of your comfort zone.
And like some things that would bother you maybe on like a normal day won't bother you when you've gone through the struggle for the day.
Yep. Oh, they're much less in comparison.
Right.
Yeah, I got
it kind of puts everything into perspective, at least for me. And that's what I would say for inspiration.
Snaps. So good.
Yeah.
I love it. Guys.
Yeah,
inspiring people here. I love it. I'm walking out of here inspired.
Well, I'm super grateful for this experience. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing this.
For
it's been an
me.
honor talking to you, and maybe one day we'll have you back.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Horrocks and the Lansing Mall
And my brother
Community
Jason.
College?
and Jason.
And my husband.
What? Jason's last name?
Oh, Jason Franks.
All right. Jason, get a hold of me. We'll have you on.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.